President Trump with his physician, that's White House physician Ronny Jackson. He is now a member of Congress, a Republican from Texas, and he has a new book. Let's put it up, please. Holding the Line, a lifetime of defending democracy and American values. Yes, you know, when he was the physician at the White House, he's also an admiral in the United States Navy. He served 24 years in the Navy. Congressman Jackson, welcome back to Newsmax. How are you? Congratulations on the book. It comes out officially next Tuesday.
That's right. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate you having me.
So, the story behind the story. What is it like being the White House physician? That's probably the most unique job for a doctor anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great privilege. You get to travel all over the world, fly all over the world on Air Force One and on Marine One. You get to be, witness to history. You're with the president all the time. I mean, literally in the elevator, on the airplane, in the holds, just wherever he's at, you're just a few steps away. You overhear a lot of really interesting conversations, I would say, and it's just, it's a real privilege to be able to take care of the commander-in-chief, and I was lucky enough to be able to do it for Bush, Obama, and Trump. I was there for 14 years. I had that job, so yeah, I miss it.
Bush, Obama, and Trump. Now, you're famous for extolling the health virtues of Donald Trump. You did so publicly, and a lot of people are like, oh, man, you're overdoing it. But actually, let's face it, he is a very unique specimen. I mean, anybody can see that. He's 76 years old. He has the energy of a 16-year-old. I don't think you are... do me a favor. Tell us about his health, if you don't mind.
No, he's in great health. And people wonder, like, well, why is he so healthy? Because, he's famously doesn't have a really great diet, and he doesn't exercise much, other than playing golf and whatnot. But you got to look at his whole life. I mean, throughout his life, he never drank, he never smoked. He led a pretty healthy life overall compared to a lot of folks. And so I just think that he's reaping the rewards of a healthy life early on. And he was in great shape. I mean, I put him on the treadmill, did a cardiac stress test on him. He knocked it out of the water. I mean, he was in the top 10% of everyone in his age. I mean, he did extremely well in his cardiac stress test, and he just, he's in great health, to be honest with you. And and I didn't overdo it, Greg. I'll point out that I was very thorough in briefing his physical exam, something we have not seen from the doctor at the White House right now with regards to with regards to President Biden. We need that right now. We need somebody to stand up in front of the camera right now and answer some questions about President Biden and his health, and that hasn't happened.
When you were at the Obama White House, did you treat Vice President Biden, or were you strictly for the president?
I was strictly for the president. I oversaw the medical team, the physician, the medical team administratively that took care of him, but I didn't participate in his health care. I didn't examine him, and he wasn't my responsibility, so I didn't really have any medical oversight of him, just oversight of the officers, the physicians and the nurses that were taking care of him were part of the White House medical unit, which I was in charge of.
So I think we have a tweet, and I think this is in your book. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'd love to ask you about it if it's in the book. You raised questions about Vice President Biden's, after he left office, when he was a candidate, his mental acuity, which makes a hell of a lot of sense. We can all see it. Remember the cognitive test I gave Trump? The one he aced sounds like somebody else might need some testing done. Scary. You're talking about Joe Biden, correct?
That's right.
Now,
yeah.
Barack Obama sees this tweet. And I have the email here. Do you mind if we go through it? Because I think it's pretty fascinating.
No, read it. Yeah, it'd be great.
All right, here we go. But before we do that, go ahead and put it down. How long after the tweet did he reach out to you via email?
It was probably 20 to 30 minutes. It was quick. I mean, I just sent it out. I was driving to a campaign event, and I was almost there. And before I got there, I got his email. So it was quick.
And how did you get along with Barack Obama?
I got along with him fine. I mean, on a personal level, he treated me well, and he was easy to take care of. I was blessed with working for 3 great families, to be honest with you. I didn't agree with anything President Obama did politically his entire 8 years, but my job wasn't political. I was on active duty taking care of the commander-in-chief, no different than the pilot that flies Air Force One or the commander at Camp David or the Secret Service agents that protect him. I was protecting and taking care of the President of the United States, the man and the office. But I got along with him on a personal level just fine, and I had a pretty good personal relationship with all 3 of the presidents.
And it seems that way because he writes an email, but he's angry, well, let's put it up. Dear Ronny, we haven't spoken in a while. I hope you and your family are well. I have made a point of not commenting on your service in my successor's administration, and have always spoken highly of you in public, both in public and private. You always served me and my family well, and I have considered you not only a fine doctor and service member, but also a friend. That's why I have to express my disappointment at the cheap shot you took at Joe Biden via Twitter. It was unprofessional and beneath the office that you once held. It was also disrespectful to me and the many friends you had in our administration. You were the personal physician to the President of the United States, as well as an Admiral in the U.S. Navy. I expect better, and I hope upon reflection that you will expect more of yourself in the future. Signed, Barack Obama, February 25th, 2020. A couple of things. I find it kind of wild that he wrote, but your reaction when you got that?
Well, you know, to be honest with you, Greg, I had mixed emotions about it. It kind of caught me by surprise, and it was a little bit of a combination between being a little upset, a little angry, maybe a little pissed off about it, and also kind of having my feelings hurt just a little bit because, like I said, I did have I had a pretty tight relationship with all of the presidents, and so I didn't really know how to respond to it. To be honest with you, I was almost at this campaign event, and I thought to myself, I'm going to write him back, yeah. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do the campaign event first, and then when I come out, I'm actually going to pick the phone up and I'm going to call him and I'm going to talk to him about it. So I went in the campaign event. I was pretty distracted, but by the time it was over, I had settled down a little bit. I walked out and I thought, you know what, before I call him, I'm going to call and talk to somebody who I think would understand the position I'm in and get their advice on this.
Did you get Barack Obama on the phone?
I didn't call him because I was about to, but I called Dan Bongino first because Dan and I had worked closely together at the White House. He was a Secret Service agent in the Obama administration. He knew. I figured Dan would know kind of exactly the way I was feeling about it, you know, because most people wouldn't understand the emotions I was kind of going through. I called Dan, and Dan was like, "Ronnie, here's the deal. You don't owe that guy anything. You don't owe him crap. Did he pick the phone up? Did he do anything to help you when you were being butchered during your nomination for the Secretary of Veterans Affairs? He didn't do a dang thing to help you." And he said, he could have picked the phone up and made one phone call, and it would put it all to bed because he knew it was all BS, but he let it go. And so I thought about it, and I thought, you know what, Dan's right. I don't really owe this guy anything, and I just let it go. I never replied to it.
Congressman Jackson, I just pre-ordered the book on Amazon. I look forward to getting it. And if we cross paths here in New York, I'd love for you to sign it, but I'll have it read by the time I meet you. Holding the Line, A Lifetime of Defending Democracy and American Values by Ronny Jackson. I really am enjoying reading
Greg.
these.
There's a lot of great stories in there.
Yeah, indeed. And the stuff you've seen and the guys you've worked for, it's pretty wild. Thank you, Congressman. Looking forward to it. Come back soon, and we'll be right back.